Well, this is Larry Batson at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Mayor Siebels, the mayor of Birmingham, at midfield with the pregame ceremonies. And we're just about ready to get underway here in Birmingham with these pregame festivities still continuing. So we'll just say right here that everyone stand by for Birmingham Americans football.
Here come the Birmingham Americans. It's time for professional football. And tonight's game between the World Football League Birmingham Americans and the Southern California Sun. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Edwards Chevrolet, 3rd Avenue North, downtown, the Employers Life Insurance Company of Alabama, and the Bank of the Southeast.
The Birmingham Americans and the World Football League are here. The inaugural game of the premier season from Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama, July 10th, 1974. Hello, everybody. This is Larry Matson, and welcome to the Americans Radio Network. All games, home and away, will be carried on these stations during this historic premier season. Mayor Siebels, the mayor of Birmingham, at midfield with the owner of the California Sun and the owner of the Birmingham Americans, Larry Hatfield of the Sun, and Bill Putnam of the Americans, and little Bill, William, the son of Bill Putnam, also at midfield with the president of the Americans, Carol Stallworth, and other dignitaries here in Birmingham as the pregame festivities are still continuing. We do expect to be a little late with the kickoff. The kickoff is expected at 8:05, but I can assure you they'll never kick it off at 8:05. So the Americans entertaining, it looks like it's going to be one fantastic crowd here in Birmingham. The people are still lined up outside as we can look out. It's a beautiful evening now. It had rained earlier in the afternoon. In fact, just a couple of hours before kickoff time and airtime, but it has cleared up. It's a beautiful evening, and we're expecting a fantastic crowd. There's already a banner up across the Birmingham football capital of the South in the upper deck across the way. It says, "Go Ans," and this is going to be a very partisan crowd tonight in Birmingham. You know, a lot of comment has been made across the state as to who would be the announcers, who would be the color men, and so on. Well, we can say here that we'll have guest commentators for the first several weeks for the Americans, and tonight we have a former professional makes the play, and now we have a big down here at 2nd down and 14. Haraway comes out of the game. All right, wide left. In fact, we got two wide outs to the left side, a slot back and a wide out. Going back is Myra. He wants to throw, throws it short, and diving incomplete. Diving is Jenkins. He could not get to the football. I thought it was throwing short. Actually, it was throwing a little wide. So Sark will have to come in and kick again from New Mexico State. And this kid has been doing a good job tonight kicking the football. Going deep for the Sun is Clay Jeffries. And the crowd is starting a staccato chant. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. A flag is down. The kick will be taken at the 25. A missed tackle at the 26. Another missed tackle. But a host of tacklers come up to make the play. 9 men of the Americans were up on that play. The first two missed their shots, but the next got to him. And it looked like Charlie Raymond was one of those men, number 45 coming off. Well, this is Larry Matson at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Mayor Siebels, the mayor of Birmingham, at midfield with the pregame ceremonies. And we're just about ready to get underway here in Birmingham with these pregame festivities still continuing. So we'll just say right here that everyone stand by for Birmingham Americans football.
Here come the Birmingham Americans. It's time for professional football. And tonight's game between the World Football League Birmingham Americans and the Southern California Sun. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Edwards Chevrolet, 3rd Avenue North, downtown, the Employers Life Insurance Company of Alabama, and the Bank of the Southeast.
The Birmingham Americans and the World Football League are here. The inaugural game of the premier season from Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama, July 10th, 1974. Hello, everybody. This is Larry Matson, and welcome to the Americans Radio Network. All games, home and away, will be carried on these stations during this historic premier season. Mayor Siebels, the mayor of Birmingham, at midfield with the owner of the California Sun and the owner of the Birmingham Americans, Larry Hatfield of the Sun, and Bill Putnam of the Americans, and little Bill, William, the son of Bill Putnam, also at midfield with the president of the Americans, Carol Stallworth, and other dignitaries here in Birmingham as the pregame festivities are still continuing. We do expect to be a little late with the kickoff. The kickoff is expected at 8:05, but I can assure you they'll never kick it off at 8:05. So the Americans entertaining. It looks like it's going to be one fantastic crowd here in Birmingham. The people are still lined up outside as we can look out. It's a beautiful evening now. It had rained earlier in the afternoon. In fact, just a couple of hours before kickoff time and airtime. But it has cleared up. It's a beautiful evening, and we're expecting a fantastic crowd. There's already a banner up across the Birmingham football capital of the South in the upper deck across the way. It says, "Go Ams," and this is going to be a very partisan crowd tonight in Birmingham. You know, a lot of comment has been made across the state as to who would be the announcers, who would be the color men, and so on. Well, we can say here that we'll have guest commentators for the first several weeks for the Americans. And tonight we have a former professional athlete. In fact, he played 2 sports professionally. He's a civic leader in Birmingham, a Good Samaritan winner of WIDE radio here in Birmingham. And he's had so many honors, we'd be here all night telling you about that. But he's currently the chairman of the board of the Birmingham Area Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Fred Sington. And we'd like to welcome Mr. Sington to the Americans Network and welcome him here at Legion Field once again, Fred.
Thank you, Larry, and welcome to the Birmingham Americans and Birmingham. It's just a wonderful evening, and we're going to be looking with interest because we've got a real fine football team representing our city, and it's real great that we're battling California in this opener. So, Larry, I'm looking forward to an exciting evening.
Okay, Fred, and the festivities down on the field are continuing. We'll give you the starting lineups, and hopefully we'll have the starting lineups correctly. What we have are the tentative starting lineups. The flip of the coin, by the way, has already been made. Now, the Southern California Sun Ball Club came out in T-shirts, so we were unable to pick up the numbers of their captains, so we don't know who they might have been. But the Americans' captains are John Matlock, who will wear number 53. He's an offensive center with 7 years of pro experience of the NFL, the other league. And the other captain on the defense will be Ross Brubaker, who is a 4-year veteran. He will wear number 74. As I said earlier, they had an official coin toss at midfield prior to the pregame festivities. The Sun won the toss and elected to receive. So the Americans will be kicking it off when, indeed, we do get underway. The Sun will be to our right. That will be the south end zone, and the Americans will be kicking from our left, which is the north end zone, if you're familiar with Legion Field. Let's take a look at those starting lineups once again very tentatively. So we'll take a look at the Americans' defensive unit. At left end will be John Tiny Andrews, number 70, 6'5", 264, from Morgan State. At left defensive tackle, number 80, Clarence Washington, a 4-year veteran from Pittsburgh, 6'3", 270. He actually went to school at Arkansas, and he is from he had played previously with the Pittsburgh Steelers. At Defensive right tackle will be number 63, Grant Fitanich, 6'3", 249 from San Francisco State, a rookie. At right defensive end, number 68, John Spladany, also a rookie, and he is 6'5", 250. You might have heard the round of applause in the background. George Lindsey, Goober, as he's known to his Alabama fans here, is also taking part in the Americans' pregame ceremonies, and he is now at the microphone at midfield. All right, let's take a look at the linebackers, and I can tell you right now, you're going to hear a lot from these linebackers tonight. They are great. Steve Manstedt, number 59, a rookie from Nebraska, 6'2", 218. He's also was the first-round draft pick of the Houston Oilers, and he is a rookie once again from Nebraska. At middle linebacker, number 74, and the defensive captain, Ross Brubaker, 6'2", 215, from Texas A&M. He has played in the other league 3 years. This is his 4th year as a pro football player, and Brubaker teamed with Dick Butkus in the defensive alignment of the Chicago Bears. Number 55, Warren Capone, a rookie at 6'1", 215, and from LSU will be the right linebacker or outside linebacker on the right side. At defensive backs, the left cornerback, Steve Williams, number 30, a rookie from Alabama at 5'11", 173. And at the right cornerback will be number 32, Cecil Leonard from Tuskegee, 6 feet, 170. He's a 3-year veteran who played previously with the New York Jets and with L.A. And quite a story here. Leonard last year was coaching high school ball here at Parker High School in Birmingham, and now he's starting for the Birmingham Americans. The boos in the background are for the Southern California Sun, who are now being announced to the crowd here in Birmingham. And rounding out the defensive secondary for the Americans will be number 35, Dickie Lyons, 6 feet, 196 from Kentucky. He's a 3-year veteran from the Canadian Football League. And really needing no introduction is number 28, Larry Willingham, at deep secondary. Actually, the deep safety position, 6 feet, 181 from Auburn, a 3-year veteran, having played 2 years with the St. Louis Cardinals. That's the defensive alignment for the Americans, and the Southern California team taking the field here as the units are being announced. The offensive unit, of course, for the Sun, so we'll give you those right now. Al McMichael will start at the left end. He will be the tight end, and he's wearing number 84 from Southern Cal, 6'4", 232. At left tackle or strong tackle, 71, Joe Corolla from Notre Dame, a 13-year veteran of pro football, 6'1", 267. And at left guard, 62, Kevin Grady, a rookie from Oklahoma, 6'1", 246. Starting at center would be Ted Seifert, 59, a rookie from Southern Cal, 6'2", 232. And at right guard, Mike Ryan, number 69, a rookie from also Southern Cal, 6'2", 240. There's the reaction from the partisan Americans fans as the Birmingham Americans will now be introduced to the crowd here. At right tackle, the All-America from also Southern Cal, once again, number 70, Booker Brown, a rookie, 6'1", 268. And the Americans are coming out in numerical order. The quarterback's leading the way. Denny Duron coming onto the field, and listen to this crowd. At wide receiver for the Sun, number 80, Dave Williams, an 8-year veteran from Washington at 6'2", 220. And starting at quarterback will be Tony Adams, a rookie from Utah State, 6'1", 195. We'll probably see Gary Valbuena sometime during the night, a rookie from Tennessee. Ike Harris, another rookie from Iowa State, 6'5", 206. And in the backfield, the million-dollar duo, James McAllister from UCLA, 6'1", 217 at one running back, and Kermit Johnson, number 47 from UCLA, 6'1", 204, also a rookie. They played football together since the 4th grade. They went to high school together, college together, now they're pros together. So that's a look at tonight's starting lineup, and we will be back in a moment with the kickoff of this game, and this game will get underway. This is the Birmingham Americans Radio Network.
Pasquale's makes a pizza that makes the meal. Underneath it all, measured, mixed, and baked to perfection, is Pasquale's just right crunchy crust, covered with a rich, thick tomato sauce and tangy Italian cheese, and topped with sausage or pepperoni or mushrooms or green peppers or bacon or onions or olives. Just one of them, some of them, or all of them. The only thing Pasquale doesn't add is the mmm and the ahs. You do that every time you enjoy the pizza that makes the meal.
So go ahead, try something bold. You're not getting any younger. Try something bold. Satisfy that hunger. Pasquale's has great food for a great time. Pasquale's great anytime. So so go ahead.
Pasquale's, a great Italian restaurant.
Let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we yield thee hearty thanks for all thy blessings, this free country, for the privilege of settling differences of opinion in a football contest. Grant to these teams who are meeting here for the first time the zeal, energy, and ability to make the contest worthy of this football capital as the pride of the nation. Protect them from injury. Give us all a safe return home through the hazardous traffic. May the sun of California never go down upon the land of America. Till we arrive refreshed with thy glory, all these thy mercies may thy holy name be praised. Amen.
This is Larry Matson once again in Legion Field. The invocation has been given. The captains have met at midfield for the ceremonial tossing of the coin, and I think we're just about ready for the national anthem, so let's go down to the field and pick that up. Well, listen to this crowd at Legion Field. If you don't think they're partisan, I don't know what you might be thinking, because this is not a packed house, but I can tell you right now, we're just moments away from kickoff. In fact, the kickoff should have been about 5 or 6 minutes ago, and the people are still coming in. As we look across the way, the upper deck is about, I'd say 9/10 filled. The lower deck is just about as well, maybe I'd say 70% filled. The north end zone is maybe half filled, and of course we can't see our side, the eastern or western side, we should say, but it looks to be, I'd say 70 or 80% filled, and of course the south end zone leaves a little to be desired at the moment, but people still coming in. And Fred Sinkton, this is quite a tribute to the Americans and of course to the World Football League. They might set a record here for opening night.
I don't think there's any doubt about it, and many of the people who have wondered about this young league, I'd like to say this to you. The man on the street, the fellow who wants to have a team and call it his own team, he's here tonight and he's going to really yell for him. So we're going to see a great football game, and they're getting right in. Later on, Larry, let's be sure we keep these fans aware of the new rules that are being used in this league.
That's right. That's something we should have talked about perhaps in the pregame, but we will get to that, Fred. That's a very good point. And deep for the Southern California Sun will be Alonzo Emery from Arizona State, number 41, and 44, Ralph Nelson from North College. And kicking for the Americans is the newly acquired kicker, number 9, Earl Sark from New Mexico State. Just acquired this past week in a trade with the Detroit Wheels. And we had to give up a pretty good football player in Joe Brunson, 6'7" or 6'8", 275 to get this kicker. This has been one of the weak points of the Americans in training camp. They have needed a kicker, and we hope that this man can do the job.
Larry, be sure and tell the fans, all of you that are used to watching college ball and the other leagues, they are kicking off now from the 30-yard line, which means 10 yards additional field play, and we look to see some exciting runbacks because of this change in rules.
That's right. These guys are standing at about the 10-yard line, and they're getting ready for the kickoff. And you can expect a run back because this kick will not make it to the end zone. They're ready, and this game is underway. The kick is off. It's short. It'll be taken at about the 20-yard line from one of the up men. And he's going to get to the 35, 36, 37, 38-yard line, taken by number 37, Clay Jeffries from Cerritos Junior College, 6'3", 206. Returns it right up to the, well, they're going to mark it down now at the 40-yard line. And this game is officially underway. They said the World Football League might never have a kickoff. Well, they've had it in Birmingham. First down, 10 yards to go for the Southern California Sun, right at the 40-yard line, and we're underway. And here we go. Tony Adams will be the quarterback. As he sets his line, we've got one wide out and two setbacks. Handoff will go up the middle, and he's going to get some yardage to the 45, 46, 47-yard line is Kermit Johnson, the All-American from UCLA. And Johnson will get up to the 48-yard line. They're going to give him a pickup of about 8, hit by John Tiny Andrews. A pickup of 8 yards. It'll be second down and 2. Coming to the wide side. And we've got some number changes we're going to have to pick up for you. Number 33 is one wide out. They have 2 wide outs. I formation, pro set. Handoff goes up the middle again, and this time it's number 42, James McAllister, and he's going to get that first down into American territory across the Americans' 45 to about the 44-yard line. Another pickup of 8, and it'll be a first down, 10 to go at the Americans' 44. Well, Fred, they went to their All-American running backs on the first 2 plays.
They sure did. And, of course, California, that's one of their real fine plays, the fact that they've got these 2 great runners right out of the college ranks. And they're going to use them. They're spreading out wide now, and we'll look for something a little different.
Okay, we have 2 tight setbacks. And Adams is going to drop back. He gets away from one tackler, throws the ball incomplete. Yes, sir, a very hard rush from number 74 of the Americans, Ross Brubaker, as the blitz was on from linebacker. And Brubaker just about nailed him for an 8-yard loss, but Adams was able to duck under the rush and get the pass away, but it goes incomplete. It'll be second and 10. Oh, he had no time at all, did he? Okay, second down and 10 at the Americans' 44. The California Sun with their first possession of the night. Again, 2 wideouts. I formation this time. A quick pitch. It's going to go to Kermit Johnson, and he'll be stacked up at the line of scrimmage, but he's going to get a couple of yards on his own, and he's going to get close to the 40-yard line. That's right. They're going to place it right at the 40 as he's hit by Warren Capone from LSU, number 55, the outside linebacker of the Americans. So we have a third down and 6 from the Americans' 40. Here's another point, Fred. That field goal will have to be 10 yards longer than normal because they've got it back at the end of the end zone, so this is not field goal territory yet.
That's right. They're going to have to really kick it.
All right, third down and 6. 2 setbacks in tight. Adams will fake up the middle. A swing pass to the left side to McAllister, and he's going to be hit for a loss back at the original line of scrimmage. Steve Williams from Alabama came up to knock him down. Adams faked up the middle, hit a swing pass to McAllister coming left, but Williams was right there. It's going to be a loss. Back to the 44, we'll make it the 43-yard line, and it'll bring up a fourth down and 10. And here's where you might see the coffin corner kick, something that the World Football League will be bringing back. In fact, Coach Jack Goda said about his kickers, he wants accuracy as much as anything else. He wants that ball to be able to go out in the end zone or in the corner near the end zone, and that's what you might see here. Here's the snap. The kick is away. He's going to hit it down toward the corner, and it's going to hit at the 1, but it's going to bounce into the end zone. Oh, that was close. It hit at the 1-yard line, and a big break for the Americans. And we'll pause here for a moment with the score. The Birmingham Americans, nothing, and the Southern California Sun, nothing.
Introducing for 1973, the People Pizza from Pasquale's, the Pizza People. Actually, we've always made People Pizza because people's where it's at for us at Pasquale's. Our customers who keep coming back and coming back to dine with us. We think that the main reason they keep coming back to Pasquale's is our superior pizzas, sandwiches, and the like. But we kind of hope that our service and friendly attitude makes a difference, too. Come in today and taste for yourselves.
Pasquale's, great anytime, so go ahead.
Pasquale's, the Pizza People.
All right, back once again. The Americans will take the ball first down and 10 at their 20-yard line, and George Myra will be at quarterback. It looks like Paul Robinson and Haraway in the backfield. The handoff goes to Haraway going wide to the left side, cuts back in to the 22, 23-yard line, and he's knocked down there. It'll bring up a second down and 7 situation. A gain of 3 for Haraway. Well, it's a full house backfield. Now they go wide. We have Holman as a slot back. We have Jenkins as a wide out and 2 setbacks, and the handoff will go to, looked like Haraway up the middle. We'll have to pick it out. It might have been Robinson, and it was. We saw 1 on his back, but it wasn't 31. It was 18. And Robinson stacked up at the 25-yard line. So he picks up maybe 1.5 yards, 2 yards, and we'll call it, well, they're going to give him about 3. So it'll be 3rd down and 4. Hit by Dennis Crane, the rookie from Southern Cal. So here we go now. Americans ball, a big 3rd down play here in their first possession. And we have a slot back in Dennis Holman, 2 setbacks in Robinson and Haraway, and Myra's rolling right. He wants to throw, and he does. He has the man as Holman at the 43, 45-yard line, 48, 49-yard line. Dennis Holman, listen to this crowd. The former Alabamian makes his first reception of the year in the World Football League, hit by Jim Baker. And it's 1st down Birmingham, short of the 50-yard line at the 48. So George Myra on a 3rd down 4 went to the air, and he's accurate on his first pass of the night. 10:19 remaining in the first period, no score. Americans first possession, 1st down 48. 1st down at the Americans 48. 2 wideouts this time. Little movement. Flag down. Handoff goes to Robinson. And Robinson will cross the 50, maybe to the 49. And a flag is down. We'll have to wait for the call. But it looked like the defensive line moved a little before the snap. I don't want to be premature in calling it. We'll have to wait, Fred.
Larry, you're correct, and I'll tell you one thing about Meyer. He's a very experienced quarterback, and his cadence is extremely hard for the defense to follow. And the times I've watched him, particularly recently in practices and all, the way he barks that cadence, you watch these defensive linemen, they have a real hard time staying on.
Okay, the Americans will have a 1st down and 5 as the penalty is stepped off 5 yards against the Sun. So the Americans will come up now with the ball at the 46-yard line of the Sun, and it'll be 1st down, 5. And now we have a slot back to the left side, which is Holman. The handoff will go to Haraway coming wide to the 45. He's hit at the 44, 43-yard line. Haraway looked like he was going to make some yardage, but the very quick secondary of Jim Bright and a couple of other Sun ball players came up to knock him down, and Haraway looked like he might have gone for a little better than that. That's the difference in pro football, I guess. These guys are quick. It'll be 2nd down and a long 2. In fact, the scoreboard says 3. We'll call it 2nd down and 3. Jenkins is wide left. The tight end is now on the right side, and we have a full house backfield. Now Holman will go out to the right side, and Myra is having a long count. He'll hand to Haraway. He has to move to the outside, and he's going to be stopped by 55, Jim Baker, and maybe 56, Ken Lee. Haraway had nowhere to go, and he had to try to get to the outside, and he's going to lose about a yard. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4 for the Americans.
That was a real fine defensive play by that linebacker. I tell you, the California team is a good team too, Larry. It's going to be a good one.
No doubt about that. This ball club is picked to be one of the teams to beat. And Myra will drop back, throwing a pass deep to Holman, but it goes incomplete at the 25-yard line. The Southern California Sun and the Americans, by the pick of the PR directors of the league, were chosen the 2 teams to beat. They're expected to meet in the World Bowl. Well, a standing ovation was given to the Americans as they were announced earlier tonight, and now there is applause for the Americans as the punting unit will come on, and the kicker will be, once again, Earl Sark with his first punting assignment of the night, and he'll be standing on about his 41-yard line. He'll be angling it out, I'm sure. Here goes the kick. It looks like a short one. It's a line drive kick, taken at the 17-yard line. He's going to be hit at the 22. Hit right away is Jack Connors from Oregon, who's actually a cornerback, running back kicks tonight, and he's going to be stopped right there at the 22-yard line where the Sun of California will be putting it in play for their second possession of the night. Well, neither team able to move, showing some brightness on a few plays, but having to punt, and now the Sun having their second opportunity. It's been a day filled with excitement here in Birmingham, and the crowd, a very good crowd on a very pleasant evening at Legion Field.
Larry, is one new innovation there, tell that the fans would really get a little kick out of also. The football out there is a gold football, and it's got 2 orange stripes on it, which is entirely different. In other words, the World Football League is saying we're different and we're going to be new.
That's right. They got that, what they call the stylized look, I think, for 74. Well, here we go. 1 wide out and 2 wide setbacks as Tony Adams is the quarterback. He'll hand off to Kermit Johnson, and Johnson gets absolutely nowhere. That front lineman, Ross Brubaker, the middle linebacker, just stepped right up there and smacked him at about the 24-yard line. They're going to give him 2 yards. I didn't think he was going to get that, but he was able to fight for a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. The World Football League with the inaugural opener here in Birmingham. And Adams will drop back. He's going deep. He's going for the bomb. Deep across, and it's going to be incomplete. And a flag will be thrown at the 40-yard line of the Americans. It will be interference, and we'll have to see. I think it's going to go against the Americans. They're talking it over at the 40-yard line. Cecil Leonard was defending on the play, and it is against the Americans. 1st down for the Southern California Sun at the Birmingham 40-yard line. A big break for the Sun. Adams faked up the middle and dropped back, and he's not afraid to throw the football deep. He was standing back at about his own 10-yard line. Okay, another threat by the Sun here in the first period. 2 wide outs, I formation. The quarterback is Adams. Quick pitch going to Johnson, to the 40, to the 38, to the 35-yard line, and knocked out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds is Johnson at the wide side of the field, away from us at the 35-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 5 yards, and he was knocked out of bounds by Tiny Andrews, the left defensive end for the Americans, at 6'5", 264. So it's 2nd down and 5. 2nd down, 5 yards to go. We'll try to set these lineups for you. I think we've pretty well got them straight for you in the pregame or in the introduction of the starting lineups. We'll check it for you as we go along. All right, 2nd and 5. Adams wants to throw again. He's dropping back. He gets it away. It's dropped at the 27-yard line. And he had the football wide open and could not hold on to the ball at all. Number 84, Al McMichael. Al McMichael, the tight end, came across from the other side and could not hold on to the football, and it goes incomplete. And he was open. A big break for the Americans on a 2nd down play. So we have a 3rd and 5. Suns football at the Americans' 35. All right, Adams brings them up. Johnson and McAllister are your setbacks. 2 wideouts again. Looks like Williams and Harris. Dropping back is Adams. He's going to throw it out, and it's going to be incomplete. Steve Williams was covering on the play. Ike Harris was the intended receiver, but I think that Adams saw that he was well covered and absolutely threw the ball out of bounds on purpose. So it brings up 4th and 5, and the kicking unit comes back in.
Larry, I'm impressed with the fact that we have 2 very cool quarterbacks back there. Both of them are not afraid to throw, and both of them are watching and know just which way to go.
Well, as Adams is a rookie, and he's looking very poised out there for a rookie in the World Football League action. Here's the snap. The kick is away. It's angling to the right, and it's a bad kick. It goes out at about the 20-yard line, but because of the angle, it's going to be brought back up to the... Well, it looks like they're going to bring it up to about the about the 24-yard line as it angled out.
The Americans stacked their line that time and rushed well, and he had to kick quick, and he kicked it off the side of his foot, and instead of being able to kick for the coffin corner, it just angled out and made a very bad kick out of it.
About 11 yards on the kick, so the Americans get another break there, and they'll have 1st down and 10 at their own 24. And the Americans' 2nd possession of the night. So far, it's been a defensive battle here in the first period. Okay, the Americans send Holman wide to the right, Jenkins wide to the left. The handoff goes up the middle to Charlie Haraway, who gets a round of applause as he digs his way up to the 27, 28-yard line. He's hit by Dave Roller from Kent State, 6'2", 268, and linebacker Jim Baker, a 225, 5'11", 225-pounder from Arizona State. I believe it is against the Sun. They're going to move it up. It's offsides against Southern California, and they will take the penalty, and it will give the Americans a 1st down. Carl Bartles now checks into the lineup for the Americans. as Haraway comes out. So you got Bartles and Robinson in the lineup. Handoff goes to Bartles. Flag down, 35-yard line, 37, 38, 39-yard line goes the hard-running Carl Bartles. Dave Roller in on the stop, number 74 from Kent.
Got a flag on
down.
the play. I believe it's a backfield in motion against Americans, Larry.
Here's another rule change we might mention. The backs can be in motion if they are outside the ends. But inside the ends, it will be a penalty play, and that's what it is here. They've marked off 5 yards against the Americans, so it brings up 1st and 15. Okay, Myra will have a 1st and 15. At his 28, he drops back, wants to throw quickly and does, has Jenkins incomplete at the 38. He overthrew Jenkins. Jenkins did a little 5 or 6 yards straight ahead and out to the sideline, a little Z-out pattern, or square out, I guess you'd call it, and he goes incomplete. 2nd down and 15. So Denny Duron is now in the lineup for the Americans, and he's going to go in a wide receiver position. He's listed as a quarterback, but he's been working out as a wide receiver, and he will be in now for Alfred Jenkins at the left wideout. Holman is still your right side wideout. Man in motion is Bartles. Quick pitch. There's a penalty flag down. Robinson to the 35, to the 37, 38-yard line as Paul Robinson's knocked down, but there is a penalty flag down. Bartles might not have gotten outside the end before the ball was snapped. We'll have to wait and see. Greg Mason makes the stop, and the crowd doesn't like the call. A vocal crowd here at Legion Field. Well, we're talking to the Sun, Fred. It looks like it's going to go against the Americans.
Yes, well, I tell you what, Maurer is arguing about this man in motion. You see, this is a very unusual rule change in as much as the fact you can have a man not just in motion, but towards the line of scrimmage.
Well, George Meyer is very upset. He walked around with the official, and now he kicks the artificial turf, and he does not like the call, but it is against the Americans, 5 yards, and it's now 2nd down and 20. 2nd down and 20. Cleveland Van in at a outside linebacker position for the Sun now. Alfred Jenkins checks back in for the Americans at the wideout position. He'll be the wide receiver on the left side. Duron is out, and Holman is the wideout on the right side. 2 wide setbacks in the backfield, and a handoff goes to Bartles to the 25, 26, 27-yard line. They tried to do a quick opener up the middle, not exactly a draw, but the play was designed to do just about what a draw would do. It looked like he had all his defenders spread out, and Myra very wisely tried to go up the middle with it, Fred.
Yes, I think they thought very definitely that Myra was going to throw on that long play, but he didn't. He just wisely came up the center there.
Okay, here we go. 3rd down and about 15 to go, and Denny Duron is wide to the left now as he checks in, and Dennis Holman is wide to the right. Man in motion is Bartles. Here's a handoff going to Robinson, but he is going to be stacked up at the 29-yard line. Big Dennis Crane, 6'6", 273, makes the stop at the 30. So the Americans get nowhere here on their possession, and they will be forced to kick once again as Earl Sark coming in for the Americans, or the Mexico State will do the kicking. And going back is number 27, Eric Johnson. For the California Sun, he's on the right side, and here's the kick. He gets it away, a beauty. High, deep, long, taken and fumbled at the 24, and he's going to be smacked down at the 17, maybe the 16-yard line. We'll wait and see. Looks like the 17 is number 27, Eric Johnson, who fumbled the ball at about the 24 and very wisely elected to fall on the ball rather than pick it up. So the Americans get a very good kick and then a big break.
Yeah, that's the difference in that good kicker getting you out of that corner down there, Larry. He really boomed one then.
Okay, Conley, a tight end, made the stop. Conley is a replacement for Ted Powell. Looks like there's timeout on the field with the score. Birmingham, nothing. Southern California, nothing.
Radio 2. The Squallies.
Okay, the Southern California Sun will put the ball in play. at their own 18-yard line. A kick of 47 yards by Sark. Of course, the fumble helped that out. We're giving him 47 on where the ball was recovered. First down and 10. A vocal crowd here at Legion Field. And a loose football at the 18-yard line. A missed handoff, a scramble for it, and it looks like Adams may have recovered his own fumble. I think that he was trying to fake the handoff, but the running back coming through, I think it was McAllister, knocked it away from him. Well, they picked up. Well, no, they didn't either. They got back to the line of scrimmage at the 18. I thought they might have picked up a few inches on the play. Almost costly fumble by the Sun, but recovered by the quarterback, and it's now going to be second down and 10. Well, he wasted a play. All right, they have two wide outs. Dropping straight back is Adams. Floats a screen pass out to the right, and it's going to be a missed tackle at the 20, 25, 30-yard line up to the 35 and bumped out of bounds. Coming up quickly is number 32, Cecil Leonard. Dickie Lyons came up quickly to help out, too, but a missed tackle at the 20-yard line prevented what would have been a pickup of about 2 yards and caused a first down play for the Southern California Sun. Fred, I don't care whether you play Pee-wee football or pro football, you can't miss tackles like that and win.
No, that was a tough play, and of course it showed also the versatility of that back who made two fakes and then threw out to the flat.
Okay, here we go. The Sun with their football at the 31-yard line. Tony Adams, the quarterback. He's going to hand off, and crossing the 31, 32-yard line and being stacked up is James McAllister. Hit by Warren Capone, and looks like Ross Brubaker and even Tiny Andrews in on the play. John Spadani is getting off the bottom, so a host of tacklers. Pick up about a yard. We'll call it second down and 9. Second down and 9. Dave Williams goes wide to the right. They have one wide out. I formation. Adams is your quarterback. Handing off to Kermit Johnson, and Johnson will get maybe 2 yards, and that's all. Hit by Warren Capone once again. From LSU, a rookie, outstanding football player at LSU last year. The Americans attempted to draft as many SEC players and players from the Southeast as they could, and of course a number of those have been cut or traded, but they still have quite a few good football players representing the Southeast. Okay, we have a third down and 6. Two wide outs, I formation, a quick pitch going to Johnson. Johnson's going to get to the 38-yard line and knocked out of bounds. Hit by Steve Manstedt, the rookie from Nebraska, and Manstedt made a very good play there and prevented a first down. You know, Fred, the new rule here in the World Football League, they're not using 10-yard markers. Not 10-yard chains. They're using what they call a dicker rod, which is a 5-yard pole, actually. A new innovation.
It's supposed to be a very accurate thing. It was tried out last year, and it's now being used pretty constantly all over in football. We'll see it in the Southeast this year also.
Okay, in punt formation is the Sun, and deep is Jenkins, and looks like Steve Williams of Alabama. The kick is away, hits at the 28 and bounces straight up. It'll kick around at the 28 and stay right there. They're going to let it blow dead. So the Americans will put it in play at the 28. There's time out on the field. With the Americans, nothing. The Southern California Sun, nothing.
For 1970.
Okay, the Americans putting the ball in play at their own 28. Quick pitch to Robinson, going wide, has a blocker, gets to the 30, 32, 33-yard line. Robinson did some fine running there because he was actually being trapped back at the 23 and had to turn it on, turning the corner. He was able to turn the corner, but the outside linebacker, Jim Baker, came up to make the stop, and it's a good pickup of about 5 yards. So it's second down and 4. They're going to give him 6 yards on the play. So Robinson going wide to the left picks up 6. Jenkins now goes wide to the left, and Dennis Holman goes wide to the right. You have 2 setbacks in the backfield. And a handoff to big Charlie Haraway, who gets nowhere. If Haraway got anything, he got maybe a yard on his own abilities, but he was stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. You know, Fred, Charlie Haraway is a veteran of the Redskins and a great athlete, but he's really been a disappointed so far in training camp.
Well, I think he's got to get in good shape and get going. Another thing, too, I think it's going to depend on your attack. When your attack gets versatile and opens up, he's the kind of man that'll break through there.
Well, here we go. 3rd down and 4, and Myra wants to throw. He's dropping back, floats a screen to Robinson at the 30, 35-yard line, breaks a tackle, gets to the 40, gets outside to the 45-yard line and out of bounds is Paul Robinson, who did a fantastic job of running. Fred, he was actually stopped right at the 1st down marker and may not have made the 1st down, but second effort broke it.
Say this for him, too, that all the reports we get out of the spring training camp down there was that he's really a team leader, and they really like him. They really try to block for him. This means a lot to a back.
1st down, Birmingham at their own 45-yard line on a little screen pass to the left side to Robinson. Here we go. 1st down and 10, Birmingham. 2 wideouts again, Jenkins and Holman. Man in motion is Haraway. Pitch goes to Robinson. Gets a block from Haraway to the 50. Crosses the 50 to the 46. Stacked up there by Ken Lee, the middle linebacker for the Sun defense. There's where Haraway is valuable.
And the Americans' blockings began to come now. I noticed, I don't know whether you noticed Big Wolf pulling out there and leading that play. This is what really helps you get around those ends. They've got fellas that can run if they'll just spring them around the end.
That offensive line of the Americans really moving them out, and with the help of Haraway on that and Bob Wolf, the offensive right tackle. They got a veteran, Joe O'Donnell, remember that, at right guard, who is a veteran of the Buffalo Bills. In fact, he was a captain there for 4 years. Okay, this could be the last play of the quarter, as there's a handoff up the middle to, I think, Paul Robinson, and Robinson is stacked up right at the 45-yard line. And there's the gun, and the end of the first period of play here in Birmingham, a standing ovation and a vocal crowd. That's the end of the first quarter of play, with the score 0-0. This is the Birmingham Americans Radio Network. Okay, we're ready for the second quarter of play in a 0-0 game here in Birmingham. The Americans with the football and the Southern California Sun on defense at their own 45-yard line.
Larry, one thing I'd like to mention, when I see this first quarter as an even-Steven standoff in the American setup on world football, if this game would end in a tie, there is a plan for a sudden death playoff, which is 2 7.5-minute quarters. So one way or another, somebody's going to win this one.
Things could get tense down to the wire, couldn't it? Well, we have Tom Harmon here with us tonight, who's doing the play-by-play on both radio and TV back to the Southern California area. And Bob Russo, the PR director of the California Sun, in our press box booth at the moment, watching the Americans and the Sun here at Legion Field. All right, Myra will hand off to Paul, or make it Charlie Haraway, and Haraway will get up to about the 40-yard line, a pickup of about 5 yards as he's hit by John Hoffman. And they changed backs on us here in the second quarter, so let's get that straight. Charlie Haraway in the lineup for the Americans. Picks up about 5, 2nd down and 5, and this is the first real move for the Americans into Sun territory at the 40. No score. If you missed the pregame show, Tom Harmon was our pregame guest. All right, here goes the handoff to Big Haraway again. Gets inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Stacked up there by Dave Roller. And looks like number 73 is in there also for the Southern California Sun, who is Neil Scarron, a rookie from Arizona State. So the Americans now will have a 3rd down possession down at the 38-yard line, just beyond the 38, almost the 39. We'll call it the 39. That's where they've got it. Driving back is Myra, rolling left, stopping, throwing. He gets it away, but it goes incomplete. He had Holman short, and he had Jenkins long, and he threw right in between them out of bounds. In fact, Jenkins had not yet turned around, so I don't know if he had gone to the wrong man or what, but it goes incomplete, and the kicking unit will come on. Another drive is stopped by the Sun, and Earl Sark will come on to kick for the Americans. Going deep for the Sun is Jack Connors, who will be on the left side, and looks like 27, who is Eric Johnson, on the near side. Kick is away, going to the corner, hitting at the 5, knocking out of bounds. It's going to be out of bounds, I think, at the 1-yard line. Listen to this crowd. The coffin corner kick. A beautiful kick at the 1-yard line. And there's timeout on the field with the Americans nothing, the Southern California Sun nothing.
the pizza people.
Well, the crowd is still buzzing here at Legion Field, and as Fred Sinkton was about to say as we broke for that spot, this is something that is being brought back to football, the coffin corner kick.
That's right. One of the greatest games that's ever played is the kicking game, and when you can get that other team...
The pizza people.
Well, the crowd is still buzzing here at Legion Field, and as Fred Sinkton was about to say as we broke for that spot, this is something that is being brought back to football, the coffin corner kick.
That's right. One of the greatest games that's ever played is the kicking game, and when you can get that other team bottled up, and with this expanded field, having to kick off from the 30 to start it, which means that you either move into a strong position or you're bottled up, you've got to have that kicker. This is two great kicks in a row, one that went for 47 yards, and this one went out. There wasn't any room that that ball could have gotten any closer to that pylon down there. So this is one of the things you want to watch real closely. Incidentally, Larry, these new pylons, bright orange, tell you exactly where the lines are.
Well, the rookie quarterback in there, this could be a very tense situation for a young man back at his 1-yard line in a pressure-packed football game, in his first pro football game, actually. So we'll see what he can generate here from his own one. He's got 99 yards of artificial turf between himself and his pay dirt. So any mistake here will be very costly. There was a long time out here, of course, this game being televised back to the Southern California area. Some of the timeouts will be a little longer than usual. Well, the crowd roaring their approval now. Back in their own territory, the Southern California Sun. The quarterback is Adam. Quick handoff up the middle. He'll get to the 3, and that's all. Right at the 3-yard line as he stacked up the right side of that defensive alignment for the Americans, and the middle linebacker, Brubaker, and I think Capone and Satanich all in on the stop. McAllister carried the ball, and he's going to get a little running room up to about the 4-yard line, and that's all. So it'll bring up second down. They're going to give him 2 yards in the play, so they'll mark it down at the 3. It'll be second down and 8. And they're going to go with 2 wideouts and 2 setbacks. The quarterback is Adams. He's going to hand off again. Coming up the middle to the 5, 6, 7, 8-yard line is Kermit Johnson. You know, most of the night, Fred, they've been alternating these 2 backs every other play.
Yes, they're really running them hard in there, and he found a little bit of daylight there and managed to slip through. This is a very crucial down coming up, Larry. This could be the difference between the Americans being in real position or letting the other ones out of there, let the Suns out of the hole.
Okay, third down and 3 at the 8-yard line. A big possession down for the Sun. 2 wideouts. Adams going to hand off again, crossing up to the 10, 11-yard line, and it's going to be very, very close. It's going to be very, very close, Fred, and I don't know. They're going to call, looks like they're going to call an official timeout. We're going to stay right here with it as they measure the gain. Kermit Johnson carried the ball, and here's where that dicker rod comes into play. It should be a very accurate situation here. The dicker rod is a 5-yard pole. They're going to mark it down, and they mark it right down over the football. So we'll see here if it's a first down or not. This is a very big play. And it is a first down, I think, by the length of the football. The Birmingham Americans owner is to the booth to our right, Bill Putnam. He's standing up and watching very intently. He's got his family with him tonight. Tommy McAllister, the Americans' PR director, is enjoying the game with him. 12:15 remaining here in the half, and first down, California Sun at their own 12-yard line. Mike Mullen checks in at a linebacker position for the Sun. Dropping back is Adam, firing a pass over the head and incomplete to Dave Williams. Dave Williams, the wide out on the left side, went straight down and cut across, and it was overthrown, incomplete. Covering on the play was 51, Mike Mullen, called Moon Mullins by his teammates. He was the last cut of the Miami Dolphins last year. So this Adams, although he's a rookie, Fred, he's not afraid to throw under pressure.
Sure isn't. He threw that one right off of his 2-yard line, which is pretty tense back there.
All right, second down and 10 from the 12. I formation. Once again, 2 wide outs. Quick pitch to the 10, to the 15-yard line is Kermit Johnson. Stacked up on that left side in the secondary. It looks like, well, they've got 68, Grant Svitanich, one of the linemen coming off the bottom, and 51, Mike Mullen. And 59, Steve Manstead, was in to help out, too. So Mullen in there for a couple of plays, and he's been christened very quickly here with 2 pretty good plays in the first 2 plays he's been in the game. Larry Willingham is the deep safety for the Americans, the former All-American for Auburn and the outstanding safety for the St. Louis Cardinals. And he's going to crash, safety blitz. The pass is away to Johnson to the 20-yard line, to the 25, 26-yard line, and he's smothered by Cecil Leonard. Ross Brubaker was coming back to cover on the play, too, but that was a safety blitz by Larry Willingham, and it didn't pay off that time as the pass was gotten away at its complete first down, Sun. A calculated risk, I'd say, by Willingham.
That's right, but he was saved by his defensive back over here because he made a very accurate tackle. And as you realize, when Willingham was gone, there was nothing back deep there.
Well, you got to have confidence in your buddies back there, and that's what Willingham had on a safety blitz. First down and 10 at the 28-yard line, and Adams drops back and then hands off on a delayed handoff, not exactly a draw, but a delayed handoff to Johnson. And Johnson crosses the 30-yard line to the 31, and they're going to give him 4 yards, second down and 6. Dick Trower now in from the University of Miami for the Americans.
That's 2 consecutive tackles he's made, Larry. He's playing good football.
At 6'3", 245, and he was really the outstanding defensive lineman in the early going at camp down at Marion. So here we go, a second down and 7 for the Sun. Handoff goes to Johnson, and Johnson's going to be really belted at the 33-yard line. Or make it McAllister, 42. McAllister. And he was really belted. Mullen was in on the play, and also getting up looks like number 68, Grant Svitanich.
That was a new style play. That was a slant play with him slanting down that line, hoping for a quick break open, but it didn't materialize because the Americans closed it up very quickly.
Now, I was kidding Grant Svitanich. I was hoping he wouldn't be in on too many plays where I'd have to pronounce that name, but tonight he's been all over the field so far. Here we go, third down and 4. And a handoff goes to the second man through, and he's stacked up right at the line of scrimmage at the 35-yard line. Boy, was he stacked up. Getting off the bottom is James McAllister, the running back, and he got nowhere, and it'll be a kicking down once again for the California Sun. You know, this is expected to be a big scoring offensive threat from both ball clubs here in the World Football League, but it's been a defensive battle. Okay, Jenkins for the Americans and Steve Williams from Alabama, the 2 deep men for the Americans, Jenkins and Williams. And the California kicker bobbles the punt. He gets it away, but it's a high, short kick at the 42-yard line. No fair catch, you can't call them. In the World Football League, they got to give you 5 yards, and
That's
Jenkins
right.
will get up to the 45-yard line where he's knocked down. He could not call a fair catch. Under normal circumstances, he would have. But we'll call it right here with a timeout on the field. The Americans nothing, the California Sun nothing. Okay, here we are with the crowd still buzzing about that. In fact, I think, Fred, they expected a fair catch and saw Jenkins catch it to run with it.
Yeah, you see, this is something that the crowd is going to have to get used to, is this variation now in these rules. Also, I'd like to call attention, Larry, if you happen to notice that because of the fact that he fumbled that ball and then came up with that kick, and he had to hold it there temporarily, those 2 big linemen crashed into him, and this is one of those plays you see in college quite often where you get a running into the kicker situation, but it was clearly a case of him trying to make up for a fumble ball, and therefore they were eligible to do it. These differences in rules are going to be something. When you can't catch that ball back there now and you got to go with it, there's no argument about whether he signals for the fair catch or not. He's got to go.
Well, we still have a TV timeout for the Southern California Sun people, so let's pause up and down the line on the back to live action at Legion Field. Warren Capone almost blocked the punt that was just made as the kicker for the Sun bobbled it, dropped it to the ground, but was very quick in getting it off. And then, of course, Alfred Jenkins fielding it at his own 45. They had to give him 5 yards before they could go in on the tackle. They gave him that 5, and the very quick Jenkins got up to his 45-yard line, almost the 46. So here we go. Carl Bartle's in it, a running back now for the Americans. Looks like Paul Robinson, the other running back, and the handoff will go to Robinson. He gets up to the 50-yard line, smack down there, and I think across the 50-yard line is Robinson. He's hit by Cleveland Vann, a rookie from Oklahoma State, 6 foot, 223 pounds, and it's a 6-yard gain for Robinson. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 4, and he's in Sun territory at the 49. Robinson, a very quick back that really slides and glides through the line. You don't really recognize his quickness until he breaks out. Jenkins is wide out to the right, and Jenkins wide left, Holman wide right. The handoff goes up the middle again, this time to Bartles, and Bartles is going to get down close to the 45-yard line. I think they'll mark it at about the 44.
Larry, I want to make a remark real quick. I think that you're going to find that this offense now, with that back being able to go towards the line of scrimmage in motion, is going to be difficult even for officials for a while, because even in the pro ranks you couldn't do that. So now you've got to really be careful. I think this is why Meyer was arguing so a while ago.
All right, we have Dennis Holman coming wide to the left. We had a change. Jenkins came out. Looks like we have a 2 tight end offense, short yardage, less than a yard to go on 3rd down. And Myra will keep the football coming wide to the left, but he's going to be trapped for a loss and knocked down back at the 48-yard line. Jim Baker, the linebacker on the outside, on the right side from Arizona State, the rookie, came up to make the play. Myra faked a handoff with a 2 tight end offense, rolled to his left, but was stopped for a loss. And it brings up a 4th down and 5. They only had a foot and a half to go, but they got nowhere with a loss of about 3 on the play. And now the Americans are forced to kick once again. Going back is Sark, and he's had 2 beauties already tonight. Remember, the kicking game was a problem area at training camp, and this is the first game for Sark to really get some action in with the Americans. He gets the kick away. Another beauty. Going back to the 7-yard line. It's going to be taken there to the 10, to the 12, and off as he belted. Jack Connors took it at his 10, and he got nowhere. Really belted by a host of tacklers. It looked like to tie it in, Conley, for the Americans, who really came in to wallop him.
Larry, I want to say one thing. On a long, high kick like that, that safety man is going to have sure enough courage, because they're really coming down there under it, and he's got to catch it, and he's got to run.
Well, we'll keep it right here now. And, boy, I'm telling you, they had some pressure down there. And the Americans have another break here defensively with the Sun backed up at their own 13-yard line. 1st down and 10. Once again, 2 wide outs. The handoff coming wide to the right is to Johnson, and Johnson will get nowhere. The whole left side of the Americans unit. Looks like Steve Manstedt led the play, but he had a lot of help. Dick Trower, Manstedt, and Ross Brubaker all in on the play. Of number 83, Ike Harris, and incomplete. It looked like a wide running play coming to the right, and then Adams very quickly reversed and went to his left after faking the handoff, and then missed Harris at about the 28-yard line. So it brings up a 3rd down and 10, and another big possession down because they're deep in their own territory.
Larry, I'd like to remark about that quarterback. He's got very good hands, and he hipped that ball well then and faked it, you see, at the same time, and that's what got the defense drawn off, but he was inaccurate. That was all that saved it.
Okay, here we go. 3rd down and 10, and Adams wants to throw, dropping straight back, has time, hits his tight end, or his wide receiver at the 25. He's hit smack right there, and the ball was jarred loose, and it looks like they're going to call it an incomplete pass. He was hit immediately by Cecil Leonard, and I think Mike Truax came up on the play. But at any rate, it goes as an incomplete pass and brings up a 4th down situation, and the Sun will be forced to kick. And boy, what a timely hit by that cornerback.
It was a tremendous play, because he had to go in there and hit that ball. That was what jarred it loose, and that was the difference between the completion.
Steve Williams again, and Alfred Jenkins, the deep backs for the Americans, and now they're going to be very close to that 50-yard line as they line up. They're going to be at their 48. Looks like an official's timeout. We're going to keep it right here. They want to change football. Maybe this one had the air let out of it. And Shallow in his end zone is the kicker for Southern Cal. He gets it away, and it's a pretty good boot. It's going to cross the 50, taken at the 46-yard line, and he's going to be hit right there. A flag goes down. Fred, I don't think they gave him the 5 yards. It'll be a penalty going against the Sun, but we'll break it right here and recap it for you in a moment. With the score, Birmingham nothing, and Southern California nothing. Receiver of the punt, the 5-yard security blanket, if you will call it that, and so a penalty goes against the Sun, and they now have the ball at the 38-yard line. The Americans with the football. Handoff goes to Robinson up the middle, and Robinson stacked up short of the line of scrimmage. He lost about a yard or two on the play. He's hit by Dennis Crane, a Southern California rookie at 6'6", 273. Gets across the 40 at the 39 to give him a loss of a yard. Second down and 11. The Americans have the best field position that they've had here in the second quarter at any rate. They're inside the 40-yard line. 5 minutes remaining in this half. Dennis Holman wide right. Taking a handoff is Myra. Dropping back. He wants to throw. He has Holman at the 10. 5. Incomplete. Holman was open at the 10-yard line, and Myra overthrew him. Holman tried to run underneath it at the 5, but it was just too much to go, and Holman could not get to it. A flag has been dropped back at the 47-yard line, and the Americans are walking back. The crowd roared in approval. They thought maybe it might have been roughing the passer, but we'll have to see because the Americans are dropping way back. They're talking with the defensive unit of the Sun, and there's little doubt here that this ball will be brought back against the Americans. Denny Duron is coming in for Holman, who had to go deep on the pass pattern. And Duron, who is really a quarterback from Louisiana Tech but can also play wide receiver, is in at a wide receiver spot tonight. Matthew Reed, who came to camp as just having an outside chance of even making the ball club, was so impressive, the quarterback from Grambling, that he really became the number 2 quarterback, and Reed, being the number 2 quarterback, forced Duron into a wide receiver position.
Last really exciting night. The referee took 5 yards too much and had to bring it back. So I don't know. There's lots of excitement on that field.
Second down and 20 for the Americans, right at the 50-yard marker. 4:51 remaining. Man in motion. Driving back is Myra. Firing right over the middle and has his man complete at the 35-yard line is Paul Robinson, who came out of the backfield on a little curl in over the middle, and he's hit by Jim Bright, the rookie from UCLA. So Myra hits Robinson out of the backfield for 13 yards. Not good for the first down. It'll bring up a third down, however, and now they're in good position at 3rd down and 6. Fred, I think he had about 4 receivers out that time.
Yeah, he had a lot of them open.
Okay, I formation, 2 wideouts. Holman back in the game wide right. Man in motion. Dropping back is Myra. He wants to throw. Gets it out. And it's going to be at the 30 complete. Inside the 30 to the 27-yard line is Alfred Jenkins, the wide receiver, who only went out long enough for that first down, got the ball, and he made the first down. For the Americans, Myra is going to the air and doing it very effectively here, and his experience, Fred, is showing here.
That was a good play, too. That runner, when he caught that ball, he fought his way out of bounds, stopped that clock. You got 4 minutes and 5 seconds left in this half, and that was a precious timeout.
All right, the first real threat from either ball club, and it's the Americans threatening at the 28-yard line, 27-yard line. Myra dropping back. He's being rushed. He'll be sacked. He'll be sacked back at the 35. The left outside linebacker, Cleveland Van, blitzed that time. Nobody picked him up, and Myra sacked back at the 36-yard line. A big loss on the play of about 8 yards, maybe 9. They're going to call it a loss of 8. Jenkins comes back in. Duron comes out. 3:45 remaining in the half. The clock is moving. The Americans, 2nd down, and 18 to go for that first down. Well, let's see if that sacking will have an effect on this drive. In motion is Robinson. Dropping straight back is Myra. He has only one blocking back. He's going to go deep. He's going deep to Jenkins in the end zone, but it's incomplete. And no flags. The crowd thought that maybe Jenkins had been interfered with as Jack Connors was defending very closely on the play. Actually, Connors went up trying for the interception and may have bumped Jenkins, but the ball is a free ball when you're going up for it.
There was no interference on it. I think the call was a good one.
Okay, Denny Duron is now back in the game as Jenkins, who went deep on that play, is coming out. Remember, the heat in Legion Field could take its toll, and the best conditioned team could be the victorious team here tonight. And the Americans, quite frankly, are in very good condition. They worked very hard, 2-a-days, for something like 3 weeks down at Marion. All right, here we go. A big 3rd down play in 18. Wide right is Dennis Holman. Man in motion is Robinson coming left. Dropping back is Duron. Back to his 45. He's being rushed. He gets his pass away, but it's intercepted at the 12, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25-yard line. Going back now to the 24. Getting back to the 25-yard and being hit there is Jim Bright, a rookie from UCLA, who picked it off and ends the threat of the Americans here. And we'll pause here for a moment. At 3:09 remaining in the half, the score is the Birmingham Americans nothing and the Southern California Sun nothing. Out of the game, but it's a little disappointing to have a drive like that ended here with just 3 minutes remaining in the half.
Yes, that was a tough one because they were down close enough where with just a break and a little bit of movement, they could come into where they could kick for the field goal or go for the touchdown. And let's not forget, too, Larry, while we're talking, touchdowns in this league are 7 points. And then on the try for the extra point, for the 8th point, it has to be a run or a pass. There's no way to kick for it. So if we can get some scoring in here, we'll see something a little different in that way.
We'll mention here that we have 2 halftime guests to be interviewed. One will be Joe Marshall, who is with the magazine Sports Illustrated down here to cover this game. He's been covering the NFL players' strike around the country. We'll be talking about that, and we'll have another guest, too. But action is back on the ball as Adams drops back, wants to throw, and has his man at the 29-yard line. The man is Ike Harris, and he is really hit just after he caught the football by Steve Williams, the rookie from Alabama, who many of these people here tonight will remember playing with Alabama just last year. Williams has been very impressive in camp all year and looks more like a veteran than he does a rookie.
A very accurate tackler, which really means a lot out there on that side back.
Okay, here we go. Mike Truax from Tulane checks into the game for the Americans at a cornerback. Dropping back again and throwing is Adams. Has a man at the 40 all alone. 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5-yard line. Larry Willingham, the only man that could get to him, or it might have been Cecil Leonard coming over, and it was Leonard, 32, knocking him out of bounds at the 1. James McAllister was all alone on the deep pass, and boy, what a pickup here with 2:24 remaining in the half. The Sun gets a tremendous pass from Adams, who had plenty of time and really got a bomb away. A pickup of 70 yards on the play. First down and goal at the Americans' 1-yard line. Here we go. I formation, 2 tight ends, handoff, goes to the second man through, McAllister. He does not get it. No, it's Johnson, 47, 47, not 42. Brubaker, the middle linebacker, came up and stood him up right at the line of scrimmage. Well, I better watch that, Fred. 42 and 47 look like the same number from up here.
That's right, and they're running too.
Grant Spitanich was on the bottom. And there's timeout on the field with a 2-minute warning here at Legion Field with the score, the Americans nothing and the Southern California Sun nothing. The Southern California Sun really threatening here with a 2-minute warning being given to both benches. Right on the 1-yard line. As we put the glasses down, the officials will step out of the way. We'll tell you right where they put it. Ross Brubaker and Grant Spitanich really came up to stop Kermit Johnson. It's inside the 1. So just a little inside the 1-yard line. So about 2 feet to go.
They've got to watch that secondary play, which is a pitch out right here, too. They've been hitting in the middle and then pitching out to that back on a quick out.
Okay, here we go. Coming up on the ball is the Sun. Tony Adams is the quarterback. And here comes that pitch, but he's going to go up the middle, and going in, standing up, is number 47, Kermit Johnson. He was knocked down, but he was knocked down after about 3 yards inside that end zone. So it's a touchdown for the Sun of California, and it's 7-0. And we'll wait right here for the action point. And remember, the touchdowns, as Fred Sinkton told you earlier, count 7 points in the WFL. So they have a 7-0 here late in the second period, and the action point will be put in at the 2.5-yard line, called the action line. And it has to be a run or a pass. No kick allowed. It will count only 1 point if they make it. This is certainly not automatic. They've been getting it about 50% of the time in the controlled scrimmages. Adams wants to throw for it. He's throwing over the middle, incomplete and no good. No flags anywhere, so the action point is no good. So we'll pause here with the score at Legion Field. the Southern California Sun 7, the Birmingham Americans nothing. Look down with their glasses. Looks like, not quite sure who it is. Charlie Riemann? Looks like Cecil Leonard, one of the backs, 32, and Charlie Riemann is the other back, so it's Leonard and Riemann. Riemann on the far side and Leonard on the near side. And here we go. The kick is away. It's a good kick. Going back to the 9-yard line is Leonard. To the 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 30, to the 33, 34, 35-yard line. He almost broke it, and he crosses the 35 to about the 36-yard line. For a moment there, Fred, he looked like he might do it.
Yes, Larry, there's another big difference here, too. You do not have 5 men within a restraining zone up front, so what you really got, you've got a chance to break up through there with a different kind of an offense. They can spread out those men and get much better blocking.
Well, about a 26-yard gain for Leonard on the kickoff return, the former Parker High School football coach here in Birmingham just a year ago. Here we go, and the quarterback is Matthew Reed, dropping back and throwing, and incomplete to Alfred Jenkins at the 46-yard line. So we have Matthew Reed in at quarterback for the Americans, and this guy can throw the football, and no doubt about it, he's in there to do just that here for the Americans. That scoring drive for the Southern California Sun only took a couple of plays. Actually, I think 3, and they covered 74 yards. Here's Reed dropping back. He has the man. It's his tight end, Powell. And Powell across the 45 to the 46, 47-yard line. Big Ted Powell, a tight end from Ohio State, where he really was not utilized too much for receiving there on that run-oriented offense, receives the ball here and picks up what appears to be a first down for the Americans. A pickup of 11 yards, good for the first down, and the Americans will call timeout. Timeout on the field with 1:32 remaining. The score, California Sun 7 and the Birmingham Americans nothing. Okay.
One thing I'd like to point out real quick with a fellow like Reed in there who stands 6'4" and can see over that defense and really gets good visibility on his receivers. Remember, in the World Football League, that you only have to have 1 foot in bounds on a catch. And you've seen many times in past seasons where the receiver comes down with 1 foot in, 1 out, and is ruled out of bounds. So this is a distinct advantage, and it could happen any second.
Well, Matthew Reed is really known for his throwing ability. He's been impressive in camp, as we told you. He was impressive here at Legion Field several weeks ago for the blue-white inter-squad game, and he's won the number 2 spot at quarterback, and he's dropping back now and wants to throw. And he has a man complete. Oh, no, he's knocked loose and out of bounds. And the referee right on top of the play says, no, it is not complete. The pass was to Jenkins at the 35-yard line. The crowd did not like it. I called it complete because he caught the football, but he caught it out of bounds, Fred.
Well, he caught it in midair. He had to land with 1 foot in, and the official ruled he didn't. But I noticed a lot of people on the sideline there putting up one finger, meaning if it was 1 in, it was good.
Well, I hope I wasn't premature in calling it a reception. I better wait till he gets down out of the air.
Yeah, he has to land in.
Okay, Reed dropping back again. He has time, and he's going to fire a bullet. It's deflected up into the air and incomplete.
One thing about his passes, he throws them so hard that even though that California man thought he could catch it, he couldn't. It went right on off of him like a rocket.
That ball went about 20 feet in the air after he had hit his hands. Well, it's incomplete. And the Americans now faced with a 3rd and 10, 1:17 remaining in the half. Danny Duran will now go in for Jenkins at a wide receiver. We might see a quarterback throw into another quarterback here, Fred. All right, Duran comes wide left, Holman wide right. 3rd down and 10. And Reed wants to throw again, dropping back. He's looking deep. Starts to run, stops, gets it away, and it's going to be intercepted at the 25, to the 30, 35-yard line, 40, 45-yard line. Gets a block to the 50-yard line, and he's going to be knocked down just short of the 50-yard line. Jim Bright, his 2nd interception of the night, and he brings it back to the Sun 49-yard line. And as they change units, there will be another timeout of the field with the score, Southern California Sun 7 and the Birmingham Americans nothing. All right, Tony Adams wants to throw on a 1st down play from his own 49. He's dropping back, and he hits Ralph Nelson, a running back from North College, and Nelson has a blocker out in front, gets to the 45, 40-yard line, and he's going to be knocked down, not out of bounds, at the 32-yard line, and the clock was running. Now it's at the 44-second mark, and they're going to call a timeout. We'll keep it right here since we just broke with 44 seconds remaining, and we'll recap the play for you. The Southern California Sun, after an interception by Bright, his second of the game, returning it to his own 49-yard line, and Adams, wanting to throw on first down, dumped it out to a running back in there, Ralph Nelson, who picks up a first down, and they're threatening Fred at the 32.
Yes, that was a tough break for Reed on that interception. He hit his man, and the ball deflected off, and that's when the California back came up very alertly, but he caught it, and this was really tough. If you can hit your receiver, ordinarily they can catch that ball. Reed throws that ball very, very hard, and you've got to hang on to it.
You know, something I noticed was the fans still applauding, even though there was an interception. They weren't disappointed in the fact that the Americans were trying to put points on the board.
This is a big ball game. There's a lot going to happen before it's over, I'll guarantee you.
All right, action back again now with 44 seconds remaining. The clock is a factor. The ball on the 32 of the Americans, but the Sun have possession. Dropping back is Adams, fakes right, pumps once. He's in trouble. He's going to be dumped by number 58, Mike Truax from Tulane. He had some help back there. Looks like Spadani, 68, and 74, Brubaker, may have been late coming up, but Truax made the big play from his outside linebacker position of the left side. He crashed in, and the Sun will now call a timeout. So let's pause here once again with 37 seconds remaining, and the score remains California Sun 7 and the Americans of Birmingham nothing. Well, back to live action at Legion Field in Birmingham. The Americans on defense, the Sun on offense at the Americans' 37-yard line after a loss of about 4 yards on a sack of the quarterback by Mike Truax. And Adams wants to throw again, dropping back, steps up in the pocket, fires, incomplete. He was covered there by Leonard and by Larry Willingham. So it's incomplete. The pass was intended for Ike Harris, but it goes incomplete, and Fred, that only took 5 seconds. 32 remaining on the clock.
And Harris came awfully close to an offensive penalty back there then when he hit the American back.
Okay, here we go. 32 seconds, 7-0 Sun. They have the football, but a third down play now as Adams drops back again. And he's going to go for the bomb in the corner down the left side, and it's incomplete. Broken up very nicely by Steve Williams. The intended receiver was Dave Williams, and Steve Williams defended very tightly there, right down in that coffin corner.
Tell you one thing, both of these quarterbacks out here can throw that ball a long ways. That was well thrown, way overboard there.
All right, the kicking unit is on now for the Sun. 24 seconds remaining. The Americans will send a single safety back, Jenkins, but now Steve Williams, number 30, is going to drop back too, so we will have twin safety. It's punt formation. Normally this would be field goal range in the other league, but with the goalpost moved back, it is not field goal range anymore. The kick is going to be taken at the 8-yard line. He has to run it, and he's going to be smothered in right there. Looks like Steve Williams. Williams has to field it. He has to run it, and he did, and he's going to be smothered right there. With only 12 seconds remaining, we will not break here. We'll keep it right here and try to recap for you some of the things. A 29-yard punt, for one thing, for the Sun. He wasn't trying for distance there, Fred. I think he wanted him to field that ball inside the 10.
That's right, hoping for a fumble. I'll tell you something else. Those backs back there look mighty small when those 6'4" and 6'5" linemen all standing there waiting on you, and you got to catch it.
Okay, the Americans with 12 seconds remaining. Matthew Reed is still the quarterback now as he came in place of Myra, and he'll keep the football to the 11-yard line, perhaps. They're going to give him 4 yards on the play, so they're going to move it up to perhaps the 12-yard line, and that'll do it. And a round of applause. Although they're behind, the Birmingham American fans are giving an ovation to the Americans here in the first World Football League game to be played in Birmingham's Legion Field. And that's the end of the half with the score. The Southern California Sun 7 and the Birmingham Americans nothing. This is the Birmingham Americans Radio Network. Americans will field it at their own 7-yard line to the 10, the 15. He's got blockers to the 20, 25, 30, 32, 33, 34-yard line, and getting up to the 35-yard line for the Americans. Looks like Drain Scribner. Drain Scribner making his first appearance in the game and returns the kickoff up to the 35, first down and 10. Gary, welcome to Birmingham, the commissioner of the World Football League. I've got a gift here from Bromberg and from the city of Birmingham. We're going to have an inscription engraved and sent to you on a plaque. And this is a plate. I'm going to explain a little bit more for you. Let me get this play right here. First down and 10 at the 35. The quarterback looks like George Myra again. It is. The handoff goes up the middle. The flag is down. Looks like Robinson is going to get up across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. And Paul Robinson, while we have the penalty flag down and they talk it over, we'll try to see here. It might have been, it looked like offensive holding, which is another innovation here, a 10-yard penalty rather than 15.
Right. We felt that under the former rules we have 15-yard penalty, you kill the offensive drive. This way, it'll be a 10-yard penalty and it's an opportunity that the drive can keep it alive.
While they're marking this off, let's give you this gift here. It's a Birmingham Centennial tray. It's created exclusively for Brombergs by Reed and Barton. Only a limited number were made, 200. This is number 83. It's marked on the back. It depicts Birmingham Centennial. We're in our second century of magic. We like to think of it as that here in Birmingham. We'll give you this here tonight, and then, of course, this is from the Birmingham Area Chamber of Commerce as a guest of our Birmingham Americans Radio Network, and we'll send an inscribed plaque to go along with it, denoting the inaugural game here in Birmingham of the World Football League.
Well, I certainly appreciate it, and thank you very much. Actually, I should be giving a plaque to Birmingham for the great crowd they brought out tonight and the attitude and enthusiasm of the fans. We're very pleased to have the opportunity to be in Birmingham, and the more I'm here, the more I think I'll stay here.
Thank you, Gary. I know this is about your third trip down here. We were at a press conference with you, and then you were over at Carol Stallworth's home for a press conference. But by the way, where you made the announcement for the action point and the touchdown, 7-point touchdown.
Right. I've been in Birmingham so many times now, I begin to like grit.
Thank you very much, Gary. Gary Davidson, the commissioner of the World Football League. And while we were talking to Gary, Paul Robinson had run wide to the right and didn't get too much, so it's second down at about 16, or 19 rather. And Myra wants to throw, dropping back. The ball is deflected. It'll be intercepted by the Sun back at the 50-yard line, and he's going to be run down backwards to the 45-yard line of the California Sun. Cleveland Band, the outside linebacker, covering on the play, got the deflected pass, turns it into the third interception of the night for the California Sun. And the Sun now, with the third big turnover here in this game, will go into operation in good field position at their own 45-yard line, just short of the 45. And here we go. Tony Adams will be your quarterback. Running backs again will be McAllister and Johnson. You got two wideouts, both on the same side, and the handoff goes to Johnson at right guard, and Johnson's going to get up to about the 50-yard line. He's going to get about 5 on the gain. It'll be now second down and 5. Well, we did have Gary Davidson up here after all, and we do appreciate him with a very busy schedule at halftime with the TV show going back to L.A. and so on, finding his way down to our press box to be with us at the very beginning here of the second half. All right, second down and 5. Dropping back is Adams. He wants to throw it. He has a man at the 47, but he's going to step out of bounds. Is Dave Williams, the wideout, an 8-year veteran of the other league, and a little fisticuffs along the sideline. Yes, sir. Tempers are flaring here at Legion Field. Ross Brubaker bumped him out of bounds. I don't think that Williams liked it. Brubaker didn't like what was said or what was done, and they had a little tussle there, but it's broken up quickly. Well, that could add a little excitement here, Fred.
Right, real quickly while we're waiting, I think Detroit is 8, Memphis nothing at halftime, and Chicago 7, Houston nothing at halftime. One made the point, one didn't.
Well, very, very close scores in the World Football League here on the premier night of a premier season. Here's a handoff going to the left side, and really stacked up, getting nowhere. Here's their running back. Looks like, I think, McAllister, 42. And he gained 2 yards. And here's a big third down play, Fred. They've got the ball at the Americans' 46-yard line. It's going to be 2 yards, or make it a yard, and it's fourth down, as they do change the marker now to fourth down. That was the big play, and it's a fourth down kicking down for the Suns.
Well, it's always amusing to me to see how many of those big linemen on the California team were willing to referee and call it a first down out there, which it wasn't.
All right, here we go. Well, they're gonna measure it. I think the Sun wanted to see whether or not it was good enough for the first down, and it was not, and it will be a fourth down play. Well, it's never hurts to ask.
Well, not only that, you have a chance to change up some men too, strategy-wise.
Well, now the Americans are going to make some changes here too very quickly. I think you're right here. They're playing a little cat and mouse there to see whether they're going to punt or whether they're going to go for it, and they are going to go for it. That's why they made that change. Yes, sir. Fourth down and 1 from the 46, and the Sun will go for it. Let's see what they do here. The handoff goes straight up the middle. He will not make it. No, sir. Lost Brubaker. Hits Kermit Johnson for a loss, maybe of a half a foot. He got nowhere. Brubaker and Capone, the two linebackers. Capone was the first man to hit him. Brubaker came up to help him. But Capone, give it credit to him. And the fans love it, Fred. A big play defensively.
That was a great play. That really the time when it could be very costly to the Suns in this march.
All right, the Americans put it in play, and it's right at the 46. That's right where they had it. First down and 10. That might be the impetus the Americans need to get a drive going. Haraway goes in motion. Quick pitch. Coming wide is Robinson to the 45, to the 50, to the 45-yard line of the Sun. And a flag is down. A flag is down at the 45-yard line of the Americans, and they're talking now to George Myra, and they're talking to the Sun. It's going to be a legal procedure against the Americans. This man in motion, Fred, is giving the Americans some trouble and the officials some trouble.
That's the second time tonight. It's been very costly. Both of the plays that they were called back on have been very fine plays and meant a lot to the offense.
All right. Well, that's a costly error there, as we have now a first down 15 to go for the Americans at their own 41. 12-14 in the third period. The Sun with a 7-0 lead. Two wideouts, two wide setbacks. The handoff goes up the middle, and getting maybe 2 yards is Paul Robinson, and that's all he'll get. Paul Robinson is stopped by Neil Scarron. Well, they're going to give him 1 yard on the play. Neil Scarron, a rookie from Arizona State, 6'4", 245. Makes the play, and now we have a big down here at second down and 14. Haraway comes out of the game. All right, wide left. In fact, we got two wide outs to the left side, a slot back and a wide out. Going back is Myra. He wants to throw, throws it short, and diving incomplete. Diving is Jenkins. He could not get to the football. I thought it was throwing short. Actually, it was throwing a little wide. So Sark will have to come in and kick again from New Mexico State. And this kid has been doing a good job tonight kicking the football. Going deep for the Sun is Clay Jeffries. And the crowd is starting a staccato chant. Here's the snap. Here's the kick. A flag is down. The kick will be taken at the 25. A missed tackle at the 26. Another missed tackle. But a host of tacklers come up to make the play. 9 men of the Americans were up on that play. The first two missed their shots, but the next got to him. And it looked like Charlie Raymond was one of those men, number 45 coming off. A flag was down. We'll have to wait and see what took place here. And they're walking back upfield, so this flag could possibly go against the Sun, but let's see. They're talking to both sides, so let's not be premature. Red looks like it's coming back. Well, I think they're going to have to kick it again. I think it went against the Americans. They're going to walk it on back, and this will force probably a little better field position for the Americans. Or, well, for the Sun. All right, the Americans' illegal procedure will have to kick it again, and you can lose maybe 5 yards on the kick unless this kid Sark can get it away. Just notice that Richie Guerin is here tonight in the booth with Bill Putnam right next to us. Here's the snap. The kick is away. It's a beauty. Long and deep. He made up for those 5 yards. They're going to let it hit at the 12, 17, to the 10, to the 5, 4. It's going to be down inside the 5-yard line. Holy mackerel. How about that? They took the penalty, hoping to get better field position, and now they got the ball back at their, looks like the 3-yard line. We'll break here and pause with the score, the Suns 7 and the Americans nothing. The crowd is still buzzing, and Fred, the calculated risk of taking that 5-yard penalty really backfired here as Stark really got a foot in the ball.
Well, Tom Pierce thought the thing to do was take that penalty because it put them back. They had to kick 5 yards further. The only one that didn't know about it was Sark, who kicked it about 25 yards further. So that's what can happen.
62 yards in the boot. The ball is placed down at the 4-yard line officially. Just before that kick, we wanted to mention Richie Guerin, the former coach of the Atlanta Hawks, is in the booth with Bill Putnam. Well, stepped out for a moment, but Richie Guerin helped recruit and helped during the drafting of the players with his experience in the NBA draft, and he's here as a guest of Bill Putnam. So the Suns now with the football at their own 4-yard line, first down and 10, and a handoff going wide to 47. Johnson, he's going to get to the 5, to the 10-yard line. He almost breaks it to the 12, 13-yard line up to the 15, and they're going to mark it down at the 16-yard line as Steve Williams from Alabama makes the play, and fine running from Johnson, fine blocking up front from that front alignment of Ted Seifert, Mike Ryan, and Booker Brown from Southern Cal, and up and almost broke it.
He was very close to breaking loose for the whole way there. One man.
All right, I formation. We got 2 wideouts this time, both to the same side. Looks like Ike Harris and Dave Williams. Here's a handoff coming wide to the left, and it's McAllister to the 15, 20, 21-yard line and out of bounds. Warren Capone knocked him out of bounds. He had some help from Larry Willingham from the strong safety or deep safety positions. So, about 5 on the play. Second down and 5. And the Suns looked like we had them boxed up inside the 5, but now they're moving the football. We've got some final score. We got one final score, Fred. The Florida Blazers from Orlando beat Hawaii 8-7. The action point making that win down there at Orlando. 18,625 paid attendance at Orlando tonight. Here's a quick pitch. Going to Johnson, wide right to the 20, 22-yard line. He's hit, but fights his way to the 25-yard line. Fine running by Johnson as Dickie Lyons came up from strong safety to hit him, but he would not go down. And Johnson picked up a couple of extra yards on his own. Well, they said the extra point would not be automatic in pro football in the World Football League, and here on the opening night, we've got some tight football games and already a win chalked up because of that action point, or a loss, depending on how you look at it.
It makes it a big thing, and it goes to show you that you've got to go get that extra point. Incidentally, I just don't believe we can move away from saying that the California Suns have got 2 fine running backs.
All right, here we go. A first down, 10 yards to go, and Adams wants to throw. Fires across the middle, has his man at the 40-yard line and complete, but hit right there at the 42. Warren Capone, Larry Willingham coming up to make the play. Willingham made the hit. Dave Williams, the receiver, on the pass. To Adams, we should say, running his offense very beautifully, having him backed up at the 4-yard line, and a very poised quarterback here. He's calling plays very beautifully, Fred.
He's done a good job all night. He's mixed them well. He's not afraid to take the gamble, and he's really trying, and he's got good runners, and then he throws when he needs to.
All right, dropping back again is Adams. He's going to float a screen out to the side, and it's incomplete. He dropped it. The screen really failed to develop properly because Johnson, who dropped the football, was really out in front of his blockers, and he should have been back behind him. Ross Brubaker blitz from his middle linebacker position, put some heavy pressure on Adams, and probably forced that play to develop a little quicker than it was supposed to, and it goes incomplete. 8 minutes, 14 seconds remaining here in the third period. 7-0 Sun. A second down and 10 yards to go from their own 42-yard line. Well, mark it the 43. All right, dropping back is Adams. Looking, firing over the middle, and he has the man at the 46 up to the 50-yard line, crossing the 50, and being hit by Mike Truax at the 49-yard line is Terry Lindsay, a wide receiver and kicker from Cal State Fullerton, 6 feet 187, and he's been their kicker. And Tiny Andrews is now checking into the lineup for the Americans.
Larry, that man came in Lindsay came in there just for that play, so I think we can kind of watch that during the evening.
All right, here we go now. A 3rd down and 2. A big possession down for the Sun. Quick pitch. It's going to go to Johnson. Johnson crosses the 50. He's going to be hit. It's going to be very close. He's hit by Warren Capone, who's been moved to middle linebacker, and Ross Brubaker was moved to the outside on that play. And it's going to be very, very close. And our spotter here, Bobby Hayes, says no good. Let's wait and see, and we'll see how Bobby calls it. Bobby, one of the men in blue on the Birmingham Police Force, on the tactical squad, is one of our spotters, and they're going to bring the Dicker rod out to measure the gain, the 5-yard pole, and they'll measure. This should be a very accurate measurement, and we'll see how they call it. Our crew tonight consists of Bill Boyette as a spotter, Murray Sokol, and Bobby Hayes. Our color man, of course, is Fred Sinkton, and, well, it's going to be short by about a foot, and you were right, Bobby. You called it a foot, and you got it a foot. I'd like to say here that Bill Donovan, who helped set up the network around the state, in fact, he did set up a very fine network, and we're expecting 7 or 8 stations to join us next week to add to that network, is here tonight producing the show, and he's from WJOF in Athens. We'll be talking about some of the network stations as we go along tonight. Mike Fairfield, our engineer. All right, front formation. Lindsay gets it away. It's a high kick sailing. It's going to be taken. No, they're going to let it hit. At the 2-yard line, goes into the end zone. A beautiful kick, but you can knock off 20 yards on that beautiful kick because the Americans will put it in play at the 20. And there's timeout on the field with the California Sun 7 and the Birmingham Americans nothing. All right, the handoff goes to Paul Robinson for the Americans, who gets back to the line of scrimmage up to the 22-yard line, 23, hit hard by Mike Ballou. Mike Ballou, 6'4", 245 from Washington, a rookie. He had some help in there. I'm not sure who it was, 54. We don't even have listed on our depth chart here. We'll have to check it out for you later. Okay, here's a pass from Myra, complete at the 30-yard line and out of bounds as Alfred Jenkins, as Myra stepped back quickly and fired to the left side. And getting very, very close to that first down is Alfred Jenkins. Yes, sir, first down, Americans. Here comes Denny Duron in, and Alfred Jenkins goes out. You know, Fred, I went down and watched the Houston controlled scrimmage down at Marion, and Myra, when he really started to get things rolling, went to the quick passes, so this could be one of his drives right here developing. He likes that quick pass. All right, 5:57 in the third period. Holman comes wide right. Duron is wide left. Myra with 2 backs, a little motion at the line, but no flag. Handoff goes to Robinson. He has a blocker to the 30, to the 35, to the 40. Knocks off a blocker at the 44, to the 45, 46-yard line. It's Paul Robinson. Oh, what a run. And the fans love it. Fred, he was absolutely stopped cold at the 42 and broke the tackle.
He's one of the most impressive runners I've seen in a long time. And the play before this, where he was bottled up, and by his own effort, he came back up and kept that thing from being a loss. He's one fine runner.
Well, you can't help but feel the excitement here in the air as the fans feel the possibility of a drive here. As the Americans started at their own 20, they're at their own 46-yard line now. Duron is wide left. Holman is wide right. 2 wide outs, or 2 wide setbacks. Bartles in motion. Hand off to Robinson. 46, 47, 48-yard line, and about 3. 3-yard gain to Robinson, and that's all. But it's a first down play, so it'll now be 2nd down and 7. Fantastic crowd here. And while I've got a moment here, I'd like to pass on this word of gratitude and appreciation to Fred Sinkton and Mayor George Siebels, who wrote some letters for us, and Don Newton of the Birmingham Area Chamber of Commerce, and Joe Fuller of the J.C. Foundation, who helped negotiate with Larry Davidson, the general manager at Wide, for a flagship station here in Birmingham. And we're very proud to have a 50,000-watt daytime and a 1,000-watt nighttime station here in Birmingham as our flagship. Myra wants to throw. He has a man. It's Holman at the 40, 35-yard line. Dennis Holman knocked down by Durwood Keaton of Oklahoma.